What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at the NG Models November 2022 releases. Hints have just came out on Wednesday, November 9th. I was actually heading to one of my classes this morning when I saw a notification that NG Models had dropped the November hints, so here we go. Got a pretty loaded set once again, as we've got a ton of airplanes being released this month, so again, delays are likely, so do anticipate that, and I believe we do also have some delays from last month's release set, which I'm going to go ahead and find here, and I will report on those as needed. So the following models from the last release set from October have been delayed. So we have the Comac C919 test flight livery, the Malev Hungarian Airlines 737-600, Southwest 737-800 in the Tennessee 1 livery. So those have all been delayed. So a bit unfortunate to see that Tennessee 1 be delayed to November, but I imagine with these large release sets it is causing some problems with QC and some of the other stuff like that. So unfortunately, that is resulting in some delays. But let's take a look here at the current set that is expected to come out here in a couple of days. So let's see what we have. We have one 737-600, two 737-700s, one 737-800, one 777, three 787s, one A318, two A320s, two A321s, three A350s, two Lockheed TriStars, one Tupolev 154, and one Comac ARJ21. And as you may notice, the interface looks a little bit different in this release set because I'm actually now using a different form for the NG hints. I'm actually using the new modelairlinerforum.com that launched about a few weeks ago at this point. It's been out for a little while and I've been a pretty active member on that forum. I highly recommend joining it. It is a great place to talk with other aviation enthusiasts about model airplanes and some other aviation topics. So their main focus is around model airplanes, and there's a lot of cool people over there, so I highly recommend checking it out and joining that forum. Modelairlinerforum.com is where it's at. I'll link it in the description below. Starting off with the 737-600, we have a Charlie Dash Gulf. This one is pretty easy to guess. This will be WestJet. They've already done an Aeroflyer 737-600, so I imagine this one will probably be WestJet. Then we have our two 737-700s. We have a November 25, November 95. 25 is probably going to be Southwest. Actually, both of them are going to be Southwest. The 25 will probably be a regular livery Southwest. Now, I hope it is a splits version, because what actually happened to my splits one, I was actually moving the whole cabinet. Now, to clarify on the movement of the cabinet, I was not moving it very far, so I didn't feel like it was worth it to move all 250 models off the shelf, off the cabinet, onto a table, and then move it, and then put them all back. It was literally like moving it to the other side of the room, so it shouldn't have taken me much effort to do it. And then a timetable fell on top of that model, and it crashed all the way down to the bottom shelf, and one of the winglets broke off. So unfortunately, I'm being forced to discontinue that model. But if there is a Southwest 700 blended heart livery, or even splits as well, splits is more my preference, I will definitely be getting this. So hopefully that is going to be the case here very soon. And we have November 9-5, Arizona 1. This one's pretty easy to guess. I already have the Panda Models Waffle Collectibles exclusive model that came out a few months ago at this point. It is a very nice model. I do recommend it. But it's kind of hard to find now, so definitely if you're looking for Arizona 1, NG might give you your shot. Then we have a November 9-0 up next. American is pretty much the only option that I see, really. They've already done an American at this point, but I think they might do another one. This one without the AA logo winglets. Then we have our 777, a Papa Kilo. This one, Garuda Indonesia for sure. Not sure if it'll be a regular livery or even the retro 777 that they also have in their fleet. So it'd be kind of cool if they did the retro, but I think a normal livery will probably be their first starting place. 787s, we have a Niner Victor. They've done a Singapore previously, and I think they'll do the low-cost carrier for Fly Scoot, or just Scoot Air, I think is what it's called. I titled it as Fly Scoot because that's what it says on the livery, but I think the official name is like Scoot Air or something like that. Charlie up next, Latam, or Latam, however you pronounce it. I call it Latam. But I think this one will be released here, the Latam 787-9 in this case. They have a Juliet Alpha 8. Now, they've done a couple of Japan Airlines 787-9s. They've done a regular livery and a Oneworld livery, but I did see that there was a special Hawaii livery when I was doing some research, just trying to look up what planes they could release. So I think it might be a Hawaii livery 787-9, but we'll see what they end up doing. Then we have an Airbus A318, a Yankee Romeo this time around. That's actually Taram, I think, or Taram, Taram. I don't know how you pronounce that, so I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. But yeah, it's kind of a unique carrier out overseas, and they do have some Airbus A318s, one of the few carriers left alongside Air France. Now, British Airways has retired theirs within the last couple of years. Two A320s, we have a Foxtrot Hotel. It took me a little bit of time, but I found Air France to be most applicable. I think both of them will have the new titles. These are like the much larger version of the current Air France titles. One of them will be a regular fence tip A320, and then the other will be a sharklet release. Our A321s, we have a Bravo-18. Took me a little bit of time to find a really good option because with a lot of the Chinese releases that NG does, there's always so many options. It's kind of hard to choose a specific one, but I think it might be a SkyTeam China Eastern. This one is an A321 with IAE engines with the sharklets. And then we have a Zulu Kilo. This one was announced previously as a future release, but this will be the Air New Zealand All Blacks livery, and that's on a Neo. Then we have our A350s this month, a Oscar Hotel. They've done a Finnair regular livery and the Murray Mecco livery as well. And I did see that there was a Christmas livery that did exist. I'm not sure if they've done that either, but I don't think they've done it yet, so I think it'll be a Finnair Christmas livery. Obviously fitting because the holidays are coming up. It is still early November, and kind of my thoughts on that, just to get a little off topic here. I like to wait to get festive until after Thanksgiving. So anyways, we have Echo Tango up next. We got a pair of them. Both of them will be Ethiopian for sure. One of them a regular livery, and I found one that has a 100th aircraft sticker on it, so I think that one will probably be the case. Then we have two TriStars after that, a Gulf-Bravo Hotel. This one they've also announced as a future release. I believe this will be a Landor livery British Airways aircraft. Then we have November 310 after that, an Eastern Bare Metal Polished. Now, I know a guy that suggested this a long time ago, and NG has obviously failed to get to that in time, so hopefully that it will be an Eastern polished TriStar, because they have had some issues with the electro-polishing for a while, but just recently they've started releasing some L1011 TriStars that have had a metal underbelly. They haven't done a fully all-metal plane yet since they got those issues fixed, so hopefully this is a return to form for that. And then we have a Tupolev Tu-154, a Bravo-40. I went with China Air Force on this one. There's also some other options, but I couldn't really find anything. And then we have the Comac ARJ21 after that, a Bravo-65. I found a China Southern. I think they did one in 1 to 200, but I don't think they've gotten to a 400 scale release yet. Later in the day of November 9th, NG Models announced a set of additional hints for the November 2022 releases, 3 787-8 Dreamliners and 2 Airbus A330s, which marks the official debut of the 787-8 Dreamliner for NG Models. November 8 will likely be an American release, as that is really the only thing that lines up very well. And then we have 2 Bravo-27s, both of them China Southern. One of them for sure will be the 787 livery. And they also had a regular liveried 787 for a time, but I think that's since been in storage. Then we have a pair of A330s with Alpha 7-Alpha. I went with Qatar for both of them, one of them being a 200 and the other being a 300 variant. We got a lot of variety, so I'm very looking forward to this release set being announced here in a couple of days. So hopefully there's some really good stuff to talk about following this release set. And we'll definitely have a very good video to go with it. So, without further ado, we'll go ahead and check out the releases. Well, good morning, guys. It is Veterans Day, Friday, November 11th, and we have the November 2022 releases announced from NG Models, so let's take a look. First up on the list, 76007 is a WestJet 737-600, just like how I predicted. Pretty standard stuff right here, nothing too special. This one is the square logo rather than the Canadian Leaf logo that they use. 77023 up next, we have a Canyon Blue Southwest 700, which I'm a little disappointed about because these things are becoming a little bit more rare now. Seems like Southwest is accelerating the pace of how frequent they're repainting their planes into the Heart livery, so another Canyon Blue 700. I already have one of these, but I don't know, maybe it wouldn't hurt to get a second one just to kind of replace the lost Heart 700 that I no longer have with the splits. But I would prefer a Heart livery, so that's kind of unfortunate that it's a Canyon Blue, at least for my scenario. 58127, it is an American 737-800. This one without the logo on the winglet, so just like how I predicted once again, November 903, November in this case. Very applicable. We got a 777 up next, 73022, and it is Garuda, Indonesia. The standard livery, no special stickers or anything applied to this plane, so nothing too interesting here. But for those that do want a Garuda, Indonesia, here's a good chance to get one. And now we have the 7878s, which were kind of thrown in there a little bit after the announcement. So first time we'll be seeing the 7878 from NG Models, and it's kind of long anticipated because then it'll complete that trio of 787s. So we'll be very happy to see some of those be announced. And here's our first one. It is an American 787-8, November 880 Bravo Juliet. So that is the registration that they chose. I think there's 881 Bravo Kilo, but it has not yet flown. So if you're trying to look for it on like Flight Radar, it won't show up. But I know like planespotters.net, I think, has it in their database. We got 59002, and this one is a Hainan Airlines 7878. This one looks like a standard livery, nothing too special here, which I did see one of their A350s in Boston, which was kind of cool. And then we have another Hainan 7878, this one with a red nose cone, so it must be one of those mismatched nose cone situations, and yep, it is. All right, let's take a look at 55095. We're moving on to a different aircraft type, and this one, oh, wow. Very colorful livery right here. This is another Pokemon special livery, a Scoot 787-9 Dreamliner. I actually really like the colors on this. I mean, you got some of the really well-known characters. I mean, the only one I know off the top of my head is Pikachu up towards the front. I don't know the other Pokemon characters because I don't play the game. So if anybody wants to tell me who they are, if they are a Pokemon expert, if you will, please let me know. Otherwise, this is a really fantastic livery, very applicable for those that may be interested in both Pokemon and collecting model airplanes. Move on to 55091. We have a LAN 787-9, so not a LATAM like I thought they were going to do, but this is a LAN, L-A-N 787-9. So this is before the merger of LAN and TAM, before they became LATAM or LATAM, however you want to pronounce it. Next up we have a Star Alliance ANA 7879. This one I did not think about. Kind of an interesting choice here, but a nice Alliance, Airline Alliance livery, whatever you want to call it, a Star Alliance 7879 for All Nippon. And moving on to 48005, this one I expect to be a, yep, it is a Taram Airbus A318, so very applicable right here for those that are looking for one. Kind of like the livery on it. Kind of reminds me of Eastern on like the tail there with the logo. Kind of reminds me of the Falcon that Eastern used to have, just flipped around. 15003 up next, we have an Air France Airbus A320. This one with the fence tip winglets. Hard to tell if these are enlarged titles. I think they are, because they used to be a little bit smaller than that, I believe. I don't think they went all the way out towards the wings. And I anticipate the next one will be a... Actually, no, it is not. It is an Air China Airbus A321, IE engines with sharklets. So where did that second A320 release go? I don't know, but that seems a bit unfortunate that they removed a A320 release off the list, so that's kind of unfortunate. 61058, we have a Qatar Airbus A330-200. This one with the special FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 sticker on the back, which is going to be starting here in a couple of weeks, I believe. So I'll definitely be sure to try and catch a couple of those games, especially for Team USA, because obviously from the United States, but hopefully every team does well in the World Cup, and whoever is the best will win. And we have another Qatar A330, this one A300 with the same sticker in the back. So pretty applicable right here, in reference to the design, as I always like to say. And here we go for the Finnair A350, this one with the Oneworld livery. Kind of thought about this after the predictions. I wasn't too sure if they made this or not, so I went with that Christmas livery. Maybe they'll do that in the future, but this one right here is a Oneworld livery. So the Airline Alliance is getting a really good presence here. Or you see a SkyTeam one next. Here's a really cool one right here, 39041, an Ethiopian Airbus A350. We have the 10th A350 sticker on this one, so really nice right here. And then we have our other Ethiopian A350. This one is a regular livery one, so looks really nice right here. Very simple and clean livery for Ethiopian. We have 32011. We have a TWA L1011 TriStar. Now, I never thought about this one. I think TWA only painted one of their TriStars in this final livery because they were pretty much all gone by the time the American merger happened, and I think the rest they stayed in the Twin Stripes livery. All right. Oh, I skipped over one there, my bad. 54005, this one, I cannot tell what this one is. I think this is the China Air Force. This is the one that I predicted, so let me check on that. I think it is. Bravo-4029. That might have been the China Air Force one. I think I got that prediction right, which is kind of surprising. Next up for 21021, we have a Chengdu Airlines Comac ARJ21. This one with like a tiger up at the front. That's kind of interesting. Just says tiger, so nothing. I'm not sure if it's like the year of the tiger for Chinese New Year. I think that might be the case, but I could be wrong on that. And then 32010, we have a British Airways L1011 TriStar with the Landor livery. So once again, this is to commemorate the long history between Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II and BA. So unfortunately, she did pass away about a couple months ago now at this point. Kind of hard to believe it's been that long since she passed, but yeah. And then finally, 13056, we have the Air New Zealand Airbus A321neo with the Star Alliance livery. So an all-black Star Alliance livery here. So a lot of airline alliances getting represented in this release. And that is everything. So once again, we're missing out on several hints. So just taking a look here at the hints list. We were supposed to get a November 25 737-700, but that never came out. We just got a November 9.5, so I don't know what happened to the 2.5. That seems a bit unfortunate. And yeah, just kind of glancing over everything. I think we got pretty much everything, apart from that other A320 as well. That was another one that I noted, but unfortunately it does not look like we have that in this set. So hopefully that will be coming out in the future, but it seems a bit unfortunate they announced this many hints, and yet they failed to release on all of them. You would think that if there was some sort of delay with one of the particular models, they would announce to us about the delay. But it seems a bit unfortunate for that. But with regards to the releases that we have within our presence, they're all very good. A lot of variety, once again, as NG is known for, doing pretty much a little bit of everything from every continent. So there's a lot of options to choose from. And if I definitely were to get something, I think it would be the American 738 with no logo on the winglets, or the 7878. But otherwise, I think I would pretty much pass on everything. But if I were to get more retro stuff, I definitely go for that final livery TWA TriStar. And that one is also very applicable, and I'm really looking forward to seeing pictures of those if, and this is a big if it's not delayed. So that will do it. So with that being said, that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.